So Neville speaks about assumption and how to assume that you are what you want to be, to assume that you have what you want to have. And I think a lot of us, including myself, we've used this art of assumption in the material world. We're too much of a consumer of it, if you will. We assume certain products and clothing brands and money and fame and things of society. But I really think if you just use this art of assumption just for that, I really think you're selling yourself short. I don't think you should really just use it for material goods. I think there's so much more to life. And an assumption that has truly freed me more than any other assumption, to be honest, is the fact that life is a dream and I am its dreamer. This assumption has freed me more than any amount of money or clothing or really anything. It's freed me. And the reason why is because I've had experiences where I've became conscious inside of dreams. And I knew that I was sleeping back home and I knew that I was going to awake within it. I've also had dreams where I've had nightmares, terrible nightmares of people doing something to me that I love. They're harming me or they're leaving me, or I've had dreams of me harming others, breaking my moral code. But when I wake up, I feel relieved that it's just a dream, that the horrific thing I experienced moments ago is it's not as real as I thought. And that relief when you wake up it's quite wonderful. I mean, if you did something that broke your moral code inside of a dream, I mean, you probably would feel shame. But because it was a dream, you kind of remove that shame immediately. You remove it. You don't carry it with you longer than a week, to be honest. I mean, after a week, you kind of drop everything you've ever done in those dreams because you forget about the dream. And now imagine for a second that this life is also a dream. How much relief would you honestly have knowing that this is just a dream? I mean, how much relief would you feel if you knew none of this was as real as you thought it was? I really believe this. I really believe that once man assumes life is a dream, man is given a divine relief. I truly believe this. Because I can't think of a more lovely relief than knowing all of this was just a dream. And I know that this assumption doesn't seem on the surface that practical, but I think it opens up a freedom within you to remove that shame, to remove the fear that this is not as real as you think it is. And from removing that fear, you can now begin to play with the dream. I remember when I became conscious inside of dreams, I got very excited to just create things and go places. And that's the same as this life. I really believe that my imagination was trying to show me that this life is the same. Because I couldn't tell the difference between this world and the world I was dreaming. I really couldn't. Everybody was solid. Everything was solidly real. And what am I supposed to do with that experience? I mean, I was in another world where I was experiencing things just like this. I don't think this world's any bit different, to be honest. And I really think that if you use the art of assumption not just for material things or outwardly things, and really try to assume things about just your sense of self, who you are, who you want to be, what you want to do. How do you just want to feel today? I mean, you can just assume anything. And I really think, though, in my opinion, I should say from my experience, the greatest relief I have felt is assuming and truly feeling it as a fact that life is a dream. And when I assumed it, I was given it's strange, I was given a lot of euphoric feelings. And a part of me maybe wanted to resist it. But I just pushed beyond that and stopped listening to that fear, and I just kept persisting in that euphoria. And the next thing I know, you get so elated and you realize that it's true. It's true that life's just a dream. And from this position of being the dreamer, you can now, do what you want without feeling that there's some obstacle in the way. You truly are your own obstacle. Because there's nothing else within you but I am, and that's you. Every problem that you have within your mind is created by you, and it only exists because of your attention to it. You really only create, or I should say, if you were raised a certain way, if you grew up in a certain manner where you didn't like, and you seem to keep repeating certain things of your childhood or your past, it's so simple, but it's actually you're just reacting to things in your mind. And Neville tells us not to react. He tells us to act. He says stop reacting. And he tells you that you don't have to have the same reactions as your parents did or as their parents did. You're your own person. You are unique. And you can have your own reactions. Or I should say you can have your own actions. You don't have to keep reacting to the past or to the future events that you're creating in your mind. It's the reaction. It's you not learning how to show indifference to it. That's the problem. It's you feeling that you have to accept it on some level. But if you really believe life's a dream, you could change yourself when you want. And you don't have to feel like you have to ask permission from anybody. And you shouldn't, because there's no one else to ask. If you feel like you're not allowed to feel what you want within your own body, you're going to cause yourself a hell within you. These are your feelings. These are your thoughts. These are things that you want to feel about yourself. And if you won't do it, then who will? If there's nobody else within you. No one can feel things for you. I can't think your own thought. I can't think thoughts for you. You really are the operant power. And you would want it to be that way. You really wouldn't want to change that. So knowing this information, I hope you experience the relief that I've experienced. That life is truly a dream.